afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our second League of Legends broadcast here in Melbourne for Respawn LAN V29 Hack the Planet. My name is Coldblood, and I will be bringing this game to you by myself as Ragnarok has gone over to GTV3. So if Dota 2 is more your cup of tea, please head on over to GTV3. If you need the link, it is up on Facebook. So nonetheless, if you've stayed up till this point, it means you're ready for some LOL action, and I am myself. So we have Knife and Fork Patrol, who were the in the other game in round one there, and they did win their game. So they've now come up against September's champions, Strength in Numbers. They performed admirably back then and picked up the championship for themselves. But now they have to prove their mettle against some new competitors here, Knife and Fork Patrol. They've shown that they can win at least once, and we'll have to see if they can replicate that. I'll just quickly black out the summoners there. So, for those who aren't aware, we do black them out just so the players can't cheat. So, if you guys are listening right now, good luck to you, and you shouldn't be trying to cheat. Okay, so we do have Knife and Fork Patrol over on the left, and Strength in Numbers are on the right. Strength in Numbers Gaming, which would be more accurate. We can see the Kassadin, the Kazakhs, and the Dr. Mundo banned out here. Not surprised to see Kassadin banned out at all, as in the previous game he was an absolute monster. Was a incoming truck to anyone who stood against him. Kazakhs is a similar champ, of course. He is an AD version, and no one really wants to deal with him at the moment. Dr. Mundo, very, very popular at the moment, as this tanky meta is perfect for him. And we can see the Annie, the Narcissus, and the Amumu banned out by Strength in Numbers here. This poor Susan not going to be turning out, as well as a couple of midgets. So we can see Shyvana has been locked in here for the newcomers, Knife and Fork Patrol, and immediately the Warwick is locked in by Strength in Numbers. I would have to say that'll be a top Warwick, with Darian from Gambit Gaming over in Europe having played that a couple of times. He actually got it banned against him last night, if you can believe it. They banned Warwick against Gambit, as Darian's Warwick, very, very scary. He'll sit in lane for at least 20 minutes, come back with a Wit's End and a Sunfire Cape, and all of a sudden he will be doing a lot of damage to you. So we can assume that one's going top. We won't know for sure, of course, until they jump into the loading screen. And if it is Shyvana top, like we had in the previous game, she certainly does not have enough damage to take Warwick down. But on the other foot, Warwick doesn't really have enough to take Shyvana down. He will out-sustain her, but her damage output certainly more area-orientated, and she can probably provide more single-target damage, unless she sits there and duels for a long time, in which case Warwick will ramp up quite quickly. We can also see the Thresh being picked up for Strength in Numbers. Would not be surprised to see a Jarvan or a Vi come out of them, as I believe it is Jakey who's their jungler. I remember having quite a few combos with him back in September. He has a very strong Jarvan 4 and a very strong Vi in the jungle, so we'll have to see if that's what they decide to go for. I think he might be listening to me. G'day, Jakey. For now, we can see Knife and Fork Patrol have picked up the Ziggs and the Jinx for themselves. So we didn't get to see Jinx in the previous game, but she will be making an appearance now, with her hyper scaling, meaning she can deal with the Warwick later on in the game with the attack speed that her Gatling gun provides, and then of course the range of the I can't remember what she calls her missile launcher, but I think we all know what I'm talking about. And then Ziggs will be in the mid lane. He is very strong at pushing, will obliterate minion waves, and then his passive makes pushing down towers an absolute breeze. And we can see that Vi has now been locked in. So between the Warwick and the Vi, that is a lot of single target lockdown for Jinx. And of course, she can't really go anywhere in a hurry unless she gets a killer assist, which so far with Warwick, Vi, and Thresh being so tanky, it's unlikely that she'll be getting excited before she's jumped on by Vi and Warwick here. Immediately we can see the Lulu being considered here for Knife and Fork Patrol. That would be absolutely excellent, as if Jinx gets singled out here by the Infinite Duress and the Assault and Battery, you can just chuck the Wild Growth on top of her and she'll be looking pretty okay. It'll definitely knock Warwick off of her. Not sure if he'll stop slashing though. I do know that if he's using his ult on you and you cleanse it with a Quicksilver Sash or whatever, he still slashes at you as long as you're in range. It's just you're not held down, you can move, but if you're still in range, he'll keep slashing at you. and Lee Sin picked up here. So either Shyvana or Lee Sin could be going top and jungle. Very interchangeable. They could decide to mix it up depending on what the enemy goes. And now the mid laner being considered here. Not considered for very long. It does get locked in here. The Nidalee will be the mid laner here. So Ezreal making his second showing in Respawn out of the the one and this game that have been covered thus far. Very poke orientated, honestly, between the Ezreal and the Nidalee, and we know that strength in numbers have great synergy. They showed that in September, and it can only have gotten stronger since then. We will have to see if Knife and Fork Patrol are up to the challenge. They do have decent poke themselves, really. Jinx is fairly good at it, Lulu's fairly good, Zig's very, very good. So, and then the all-in of both teams, of course we touched on strength and numbers all-in with the Shyvana and or even the Lee Sin as well. The being able to initiate when they like will be available to them. It's not quite as strong as a Vi Thresh, but they're disengaged very good just with Lulu alone, and then you got Dragon's Descent and Dragon's Rage to bring the fight into their favor. So we will take away the blackout now. We can check who's going where, and it will be the Riku heading into the jungle up against the Vi that we talked about. I was actually right about something. Jakey is the jungler, and we know that his Vi is very, very strong. So going to be down to Rhinoceros to match him blow for blow there. Will be Shyvana versus Warwick up at the top, what we thought initially. And yeah, they're not going to really be able to kill each other unless junglers intervene. We can see Ignite picked up by Shyvana. That is very, very key against the werewolf. Whereas Sulzan's gone for more of a team utility type of summon spell, and the teleport with its awesome new icon. In the mid, we will have two poke champions who... Ziggs is more of a lane bully, but that has been toned back a little bit in the 4.1 patch. He has a little bit less base damage on his ability, so it's harder for him to bully the enemy around. They'd both be happy just ignoring each other and farming up. Obviously, Ziggs farms a lot easier than Nidalee, until 6, where she can just jump to the minion wave and obliterate it. Down the bottom, we will have Lulu and Jinx versus Thresh and Ezreal, which will be very, very interesting indeed. Of course, the disengage potential of a Thresh Ezreal is second to none. They'll be able to get away as soon as they need to. With we could see the Flame Chompers from Jinx come out. And then, of course, Flame Chompers did get a little bit of an early damage nerf, and her base health got nerfed as well. So Jinx is a little squishy early on, but health per level was increased, so she gets a little bit tankier. And then, of course, you've got the help picks and the wild growth of Lulu just to augment that increased tankiness later on to the game. So, waiting to get started here. I'm going to be interested in what the top laners are running here. So this is Vexatious, who is the Shyvana, is running in the physical damage, has 1% crit, because why not? Lifesteal bonus, so looking for the sustain. Masteries, I'd expect heavy in the defensive. That is indeed exactly what he has gone for. Has gone for armor over magic resist, which is interesting, as Warwick, a lot of him is magic damage. His infinite duress scales off of attack damage, but does magic. So it's quite interesting, and I'm looking forward to when he's remade. So we can see a magic pen and then a lot of tankiness coming out from the Warwick here, and like we just said, a lot of magic damage, and he's actually gone 2109, so completely forsaking durability, relying a lot more on the sustain that comes out. And we talked about Shyvana not having the highest damage output against someone tanky like Warwick, and that's only been furthered by the nerfs that have come out in 4.1. And it's J4, oh no, sorry, not J4, he's not in this game. Vi and Lee Sin. I would certainly say Lee Sin is stronger early on before 6, and then once he hits 6, still pretty good, but Vi, once she picks up the Assault and Battery, if you have infinite duress going on that as well, you are looking at a lot of trouble for whoever is the unlucky sap who gets stuck on that. I would not be surprised to see Mikhail's Crucible picked up very early by the Lulu. That would be a very smart choice. But nonetheless, ladies and gents, we are now going ahead and jumping into the skin battle here for the second league game of Respawn V29 Hack the Planet. We can now jump over into it immediately. We can see the Officer Vi, who pretty cool splash art. If you open it up, it has Jinx and Caitlyn in it, and Jinx and Vi are going to have a little bit of an interaction in this game. Nothing too big, but they're going to have counters over their head that displays the number of times they've assisted in killing each other. It'll be criminals caught for Vi and mischief caused by the Jinx. The other skins we can see, Ice Drake Shyvana, the only one with the recall animation. Snow Day Ziggs, very fun to watch him throw out the snowman and the whatnot. Feral Warwick is quite an old skin as well. Deep Terror Thresh, when he recalls, he pulls out a chest, but we can safely say that Knife and Fork Patrol going to walk away with the winner of the skin battle, but now the all-important Summoner's Rift is going to be the one that we're looking at now. We'll just quickly fix this up down here. Of course, everywhere is in the wrong position. There we go. So, now into the game immediately. We can see both teams heading out. Representing the blue team here, it is Knife and Fork Patrol. They are already one game up today. They did win while we watched our first game. We'll have to see if they have what it takes to come up against September's champions. We do have Rhinoceros as the Lee Sin jungle. We have Polecat as the Lulu, her partner in crime, Poles on the Jinx. We'll have to see if she can scale to the late game. Vexatious on the Shyvana, and Young Neil rounding them out as the Ziggs. And then for strength in numbers, our reigning champions of Respawn, they did win V28 Throne of Games, which was very clever. Hack the Planet, not nearly as clever, but pretty cool nonetheless. We do have Zodiac as the AD carry, who'll be joined by Halski on the Thresh. The top lane will be Sulzon, who's doing a little bit of the Michael Jackson dance in the bush there. We have Jakey25 rocking the new Vi skin, and God Amongst Men as the skinless Nidalee in the mid with the awesome new looking health potion. I do believe this is the same strength and numbers side. The mid laner may be different. I don't quite remember that name, but of course it could be the same person with a different name. Knife and Fork Patrol definitely the ones with something to prove here. Looks like they're expecting some aggression at the bottom lane red buff, and that has now been deflected with, well, not really deflected, but they were playing it safe, and they end up being okay in the end. We can see Vexatious heading up to the top. We did see Shyvana in the previous game. She was against a very AD-orientated Lee Sin, who gave her a very tough time. Now against Warwick, which will be much, much easier for her. Of course, he does get percentage damage with the Hungering Strike, but with the lifesteal that we pointed out earlier, and the regen in the defensive tree, we'll be looking pretty damn good there. Or pretty darn good, sorry. Bottom lane going to be interesting to see how this level 1 plays out. Both the supports going to be looking to get the harass down. We can see the Doran Shield on Lulu as opposed to the Ancient Coin on Halski. So the income will favour the red team here. But if it comes to an all-in, Thresh starts with very, very low armor. He's got 33 at the moment, and it will continue to scale up. He must have a ton in his runes and masteries, but Thresh generally fairly squishy early on. Lulu is too, but she has a lot more control in the early, 3 to 4 levels. Sorry guys if you can hear the announcer in the background, not a lot I can do about it. I believe this is the start of the Dota 2 tournament that they're talking about now. Okay, so at the bottom lane, a lot of harass going down. Nice glitter lance coming out of Polecat, and then a cork gets shot out of Jinx to hit Zodiac square in the face there. Mid lane looks like it's quite passive at the moment. Of course, we talked about Ziggs being better as a bully, and has gotten a little bit more damage on the Nidalee there. Something's going on. There's a lot of clapping, and looks like on the projector behind me, guys, on the stage, there's something up on the board. I can't quite see it. It might be rude, I'm not sure, so I'll continue looking at the game. Hopefully these poor players aren't getting distracted by the room of cheering people here. So Rhinoceros is going to put a deep ward there. It is only the warding totem, but going to look to do a little bit of counter jungling. Jakey looking more for the gank at the top. Sulzon having a little bit of trouble here. Jakey 95 or 25 going to be coming in as Vexatious manages to dodge the the Vault, but Vexatious going to be forced to flash there. Rhinoceros going to be coming in. A great gank by Jakey25. Going to buy some room for Sulzon. That is as successful a gank you can get without outright getting first blood, so very well done there. Both junglers just going to be sitting up there with their double buff, as the top lane is going to be sustaining back up with their lifesteal and the, just the healiness of Warwick. There's not a lot more to be said there. In the mid lane, the CS continuing to be bang on even. The CS very even around the map, actually. Although down at the bot, Poles has a little bit more CS, but he is pushing. They're zoning Thresh off of the souls, though. He's only at 8. He should be a little bit more at the 4 minutes after a few minutes of the souls dropping. So this is exactly how you deal with a Thresh. You stop him building up that durability. And there the soul falls off there. Zodiac taking a lot of damage. He may be forced back here. They do have the Dark Passage Shield, which they recently did change to make it more obvious that it's a clickable. Now, the blue team, Knife and Fork Patrol, they're doing quite well in every lane. The top and mid are a little bit behind, but nothing to write home about. There's only 100, 200 gold between the teams. They have to keep in mind there is a Warwick with teleport. The blue team, they're being very aggressive right now, and it's working out for them, but if they suddenly have a level 6 wolf jumping on them, they're going to have to keep the communication up. Shyvana hopefully is telling them that there is no teleport coming out from the Warwick to get back to lane, so he still has it available. Zodiac taking, like we said, a massive amount of damage. He's getting bullied out quite effectively. It's 35 to 18 at the moment. Jakey is here to lend a hand, but immediately the blue team going to back out here. They don't have a ward at all. This is the blue team vision. They're not sure if Vi is here or not, so it's Spidey senses at the moment. Someone falling very low in the mid lane. It's young Neil taking a spear to the face. Will he dodge the next one? He will indeed, as Jakey has backed off from the bottom lane at the moment. No, I was hoping to see the recall animation, but it will not be for the moment. So this is the vision for the red team. They don't know that Lee Sin is around, but the awesome range of Ezreal means he can farm from relative safety. At the moment, we can see 1,200 on the Jinx, only 850 on the Ezreal at the moment. So bottom lane firmly in the hands of Knife and Fork Patrol, but mid lane firmly in the hands of God Amongst Men here on strength and numbers, doing very well. And of course, Nidalee scales very, very, very hard if the enemy does not build magic resist, which a number of these people will not. Young Neil going to be heading back to the base, as if you do like Dota 2, guys, please head on over to GTV3. It is now going live. There'll be a bit of a delay, of course. And the poke at the bottom still going to be continuing here. Up at the top, Zul'Zon picked up a Chalice of Harmony. That is fantastic. A lot of Shyvana's damage is magic, particularly leveling Burnout. It's going to be hurting for quite a lot. The Chalice means that he will be able to shrug off a bit of the damage and then heal it up very, very hard. The teleport and the gank from the mid going to be coming in here. Actually, it looks like Dragon's Ascent was used at the top to cancel that one there. Polecat actually got amongst men, going to be forced to blow the barrier, and it's not enough. We're going to have to see this a couple of times here, ladies and gents. So nice Dragon's Ascent by Vexatious there to dodge that. Jakey's going to be flashing in, but got amongst men will be turned around here. The flash out by Polecat. Ignite's going to go down. Barrier absorbs a lot of damage. He's forced to flash out, but a nice flash from Rhinoceros. Going to pick up that auto attack there, and Husky taking a lot of damage. Barely avoids the Sonic Wave with the flash there, and that was beautifully done by the blue team. Particularly Vexatious, that fight would have looked a lot different with a wolf there. That was a brilliant use of Dragon's Ascent. They do get the bottom tower from that. They're now at a 1,300 gold lead, which admittedly isn't much at the 7-minute mark. Particularly when the red team have some pretty nicely scaling champs. They do have the Nidalee, who unfortunately went down, or unfortunately for them, it's very fortunate for the blue team to turn that one around. Dragon will be going down here. Rhinoceros taking a lot of damage. Young Neil going to have to be the one to tank this up. He finally starts tanking it up, and Pole's too busy pushing the bottom lane. It finally comes over to try and get the last hit. Jake 25 not able to do anything about the dragon going down there, but God Amongst Men, he's got a needlessly large rod. I don't know if young Neil can get out of this one. No, Poles did not get in the way of dodging that, but of course it's very dangerous if he tried to get in the way of that spear, as God Amongst Men could have used the Cougar form to get close and pick up a double kill. So not the best outcome there. They do pick up the dragon. This is a Knife and Fork Patrol, but strength and numbers walk away with a kill on the Nidalee, who is doing very well in the CS, only being beaten by the Shyvana on the other team. Now picked up a blue buff for herself, so it has not gone for the Chalice or the Tear just yet. It prefers to go for the straight damage, and now with blue buff, Tear and Chalice quite unnecessary. Tear, of course, is great later on. With it gives you about 90 AP by itself because of the passive it has. But yeah, so Dragon's Descent is now available for Rhinoceros. For Jakey, he's working on the Assault and Battery. He now has it. So that combo we talked about is going to be much more deadly. We can see Rhinoceros going to be coming into the mid here, going amongst men. I imagine he'll be able to get out of this. Jakey 95 going to be coming in for the turnaround. But, oh, Young Neil's actually a little bit too far forward. They're going to get a huge amount of burst on him. Beautifully done by Strength in Numbers there to turn that one around. That was beautiful. They're still behind by about 400 gold because of that dragon, but Rhinoceros takes a spear to the back. And, wow, just like that, Strength in Numbers. Still, like we said, a little bit behind. Oh, the rocket barely dodges them there. That would have been... oh, well, actually, it wouldn't have done that much, honestly, but... yeah, it wouldn't have been the best. So now the towers are 1 for 1, and both teams have taken down a structure apiece. Strength in Numbers have taken down the more key one in killing the mid tower, as of course that does open the map right up for them. They'll be able to get into the enemy jungle quite easily, as they're showing it right now. Let's probably go over to Jakey. No, it looks like they're going to pour it onto the Nidalee there. Vexatious going to throw the ward over the wall, realise that the blue's probably gone at this point, but they did clear it out to get the timer. So she can just head on up to the top lane where Warwick almost... up to the CS now will be catching up. Looks like Blade of the Ruined King is on the menu for Vexatious, and that's definitely fair enough, as Warwick's probably going to be going for a Sunfire Cape first, and... you know, it means that she'll get a much more dueling power, and that is what Warwick is good. He's very good in prolonged fights, but Shyvana, she's going to be quite good in the prolonged fights herself here. So hopefully you guys can hear me. There's a bit of talking going around. We'll try my best to make myself heard. So Zodiac getting some nice time to catch up. This is where Strength in Numbers need to hold out so the Ezreal can catch up. Poles is using that advantage he got to get some pushing going on. But the recent changes they made, there is a Super Dorant Shield on the mid tower, with as well as the top tower now. The top and the mid towers take 20 less damage from every single auto attack. To stop the fast pushes, and you can see it there. The mid tower, it was under fire for at least 5-10 seconds. Didn't take much damage at all. So you can see the changes going out there. The Strength in Numbers buying some decent time for Zodiac to try and catch up as much as he can. Pole's going to pick up some CS for himself there. Going to decide to go for the Blade of the Ruined King. Definitely fair enough between the Warwick and the Vi. There is a lot of potential to jump onto the enemy, jump onto the Jinx. So she needs that active to try and sprint out, get some on-demand health for herself. Nice little W there. What is it called? Oh, that was a spear he didn't want to take. The satchel charge was done very nicely to disengage there, but yeah, this is looking very bad for poor young Neil. He's very behind on the CS, and he'll catch up quite quickly, but dying twice to some very nice plays from the Nidalee, and then Jakey coming in as well. It's going to be difficult. Looks like Pole's going to catch out God Amongst Men here, but very hard to lock down in Italy, obviously, particularly with the blue buff. And, well, I guess it bounces and costs mana anyway. Spear going to come out, doing massive amounts of damage at the moment. This Nidalee is packing 2,100 gold and counting, so needs to have some time board for her to be able to go back safely. Satchel charge going to land. Oh, will God Amongst Men go down here? Rhinoceros may have gone a little bit too far in. The Super Mega Death Rocket ends up missing, and now we have the teleport coming in from Warwick. Oh, the blue team looking very, very weak here. We're just going to have to jump back and see what happened down here, guys. So we can see that this is back 30 seconds in the past. God Amongst Men will get jumped on here. It was a nice opportunity taken by Knife and Fork Patrol. As soon as the Sonic Wave lands, they're going to jump on the opportunity there. There's a nice flash by God Amongst Men to get out of the ultimate. Now we can see down here a beautiful box comes out from Halsky there. Polecat going to be falling lower and lower. The slow from Wild Growth going to keep Jakey away for the time being. But Warwick going to do the infinite duress over the wall, and Jakey going to pick up the kill. I believe he got the kill there anyway. Yeah, I think he did, as Halsky going to chase Polecat down. So it ends up being a 2 for 0 in Strength in Numbers' favor after some beautiful disengage work by God Amongst Men. How much is he packing now? He doesn't have that much more, honestly, because he didn't do much in the previous fight. But holy heck, that was well done. As we can see, Vexatious was not involved in that fight at all. Was 4v5, of course, but managed to get the top tower down. So it's not the worst. There's only 700 gold separating the teams. Hopefully, Knife and Fork Patrol keep that in mind, that they're certainly not out of this yet. Looks like the CDR coming out in force on Sulzan. Definitely fair enough. The Infinite Dress down to just a minute cooldown. And yeah, so well, I thought he was going to stack health, but I guess he realizes that with Bork, the extra health is not going to be as effective. So Vexatious getting closer and closer. She's going to be murdering towers. As soon as she picks up the Bork, she's just going to be whack, 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 dead. As Zodiac going to be going for the white here, which hits like a truck, but of course Zodiac has a Vamp Scepter. Polecat going to be chucking a little Bat Ward, and the blue buff there. I think he saw Zodiac, but perhaps not. He possibly saw Husky going back, not too sure. Looks like the red ward will spot out the fact that Knife and Fork Patrol going for this blue buff. The red team would love to have this handed over to Nidalee here. Polecat going to avoid the spear that may end up saving his life. Pole's going to be jumped on by God Amongst Men. Can they peel off of her? Jakey going to be running forward and getting some punches going on, but now Jakey in the middle of the enemy team gets central charge up. Wild Growth goes out onto Polecat, and now Rhinoceros going to be going in. Nice kick into the Super Mega Death Rocket, and will the blue team manage to get away with this? The blue buff is up and standing, but they did take down the rampaging Nidalee, and it looks like that will be all she wrote, as Warwick has decided to head down to lend his support. Dragon is of course up, so it is a real threat, but at the top Vexatious just going mad on the pushing and strength and numbers, and doesn't look like they're going to react for now. They may send Nidalee up there. They do not want to give this Dragon up for free. The gold is 200 apart, so this game could not be much closer at this point. Oh, Polecat almost interrupts the recall there, not quite though. And we can have we see Poles is taking down the... I just realized Poles and Polecat are laying against each other. It took me way too long to realize that, but pretty darn cool. So Jakey25 defending the blue buff. So, I mean, God Amongst Men did come down, but it looks like Nidalee will be able to pick up the blue in the end, and that is pretty important when she's gone for this damaging build. Has picked up the Sork Shoes, which probably gives her more damage on the spear against the low magic resist of the enemy team, rather than just straight rushing the death cap. I do agree with that choice to pick up the boots too. Not only can she move faster, but Magic Pen, the way it scales, she'll be hitting a lot harder. Vexatious, I don't know who got the golem there. I'm tempted to jump back and see, but we'll just assume it was Vexatious at the moment. It's Burnout. It's been nerfed, but still does a lot of damage. How much gold is the Shyvana package? She needs 1,000 for Bork. She's got that and more, so she can start going for... if I was her, I'd definitely go for a Spirit Visage, maybe even a Banshees. Banshees would be great, but... and of course Spirit Visage did just get nerfed, only has 10% CDR. As Zodiac farming away in the bot. Poor Poles is definitely slowed down on the gold income. He's had a lot of farm on the bot. Hasn't got too much since then. Now Zodiac actually going to take the lead. So this is something Strength and Numbers have done beautifully. They've held out the mid tower looking very healthy. They're buying time for Zodiac to farm, so he can take on the likes of the Jinx. He needs to burn through the help picks and the... did I say picks? I meant Lux. But... he needs to be able to burn through the wild growth, and I mean the safeguard as well. And you know, ignore the Ziggs and the Shyvana. So I like that Zodiac's been farming up the bottom tower, looking very weak for Knife and Fork Patrol there. The zap will land there, and now they're going back and forth. Poles has red buff, so it's going to be hard for Zodiac to get out here. Oh, unfortunately for him, the rocket will follow. Oh, that was a beautiful zap. Can't see Zodiac getting out of this one. There's not a lot he can do. He pops the barrier, but ends up being a solo kill down at the bot. Beautifully done by Knife and Fork Patrol. The push is going on in the mid here, and if they didn't have Ziggs, they'd be in a lot more trouble. Knife and Fork Patrol able to hold that off very, very easily. Unfortunately for them, the minefield runs out before the minions can run on it and take the extra damage. It is... oh no, they must have reduced the what happens there. So Vexatious is going to take down the tier 2 at the top. There is now 700 gold between the teams. Now a 1v1 block is going to be going off. Sulzan going to try and flash away. He cannot sustain with the ignite on him. Vexatious going to flash just as Infinite Duress goes off, and will end up being a 1-for-1. That was an awesome fight. Ladies and gents, I'm sorry if this annoys you, but I'm going to have to jump back and watch this again. It was awesome. So that Infinite Duress from Sulzan was perfect there. is going to get a decent bit of health back. The twin bite from Vexatious will pick it up, and he tries to get a bit of life still from the minions, but it is too little too late. Rhinoceros looks like he wants to snipe God Amongst Men. He does have Dragon's Rage. Sonic Wave is avoided there. Jakey25 going to be coming in. Halsky falling low down at the bot. We'll have to see what's going on there. Just want to see if anything's going on in the mid. Looks like the heal will be enough to get Nidalee back up to scratch, and looks like Halsky is just trying to get some wards down. Going to pop the box to try and get out of there. Polecat going to be very slow. Nice little move there from Halsky, but will the minions go onto him? No. Flash by Poles to get the last rocket off, and this is very, very dangerous for strength and numbers. They need to get onto this Jinx. I mean, they do have a lot of lockdown, but I mean, she's just going to do so much damage. Like, once that lockdown's down, and if, like, she can't get a spear to the face or a mystic shot or a true shot barrage, she's just going to start murdering everything. Getting the Bork to deal with the people that's jumping on. Would not be surprised to see an early Quicksilver Sash out of her. That would be very, very smart indeed. Dragon going to go the way of Knife and Fork Patrol here and pick themselves up a 2,000 gold lead. And now Sul'Zan is working towards his Frozen Heart. Definitely fair enough against the Shyvana, but now Vexatious has taken his Tower Rampage, which is, I think that's like the 5th time I've said that. He's gone into the mid now, does have the Bork, and going straight for the Negatron Cloak. Very, very smart there. God Amongst Men is here, and Vi as well, Jakey25. It doesn't have Assault and Battery for a little while now. Looks like Vexatious going to be headed to the top and try and get a little bit more 1v1 Black Ops going on here. Sul'Zan really needs to pick up a bit more magic resist. So he's got decent, actually, but he definitely wouldn't mind a little bit more. Rhinoceros going to be taking down the Wolves here as Zodiac and Husky. I like that they're sticking together now. That's what they need to do. They're doing the right thing by farming and warding, but they've done it separately, and they've gotten picked off by this very, very strong Jinx. Has the Blade of the Ruin King going to be going for the Last Whisper, and I can assume Phantom Dancer will come after that. So they need to stick together. God Amongst Men is left to try and stop this tower getting pushed down. Polecat going to take half his health and damage from a spear. True Shot Barrage does a huge amount of damage. Actually, that may signal the retreat for the blue team. Will Jakey25 go forward? No. Just going to charge up his punch and not actually do much with it. Sul'Zan does have Hungry Strike on cooldown. Going to use it again to get some health back, and Vexatious forced back now. So it's... we were quite right about the Warwick vs Shyvana. They don't do damage to each other until they kill each other. God Amongst Men is going to jump into the wall there. Round 2, he does get it off, awesome, but Vexatious is long gone at this point. Jakey going to try, well, he's been delegated the task of counter-pushing in the mid. Zodiac still farming up, has now the Bloodthirster to try and just contend with the Jinx. At this point, he can't go Triforce because that's more of a sustained damage over time type of build. And Jinx is just going to straight up murder him in a fight like that. So he needs the Bloodthirster to try and match her blow for blow to be able to sustain, be able to get some tower damage. So of course, you do much more damage to the towers with a Bloodthirster. As blue buff going to be donated over to God Amongst Men. This would be like his 15th blue of the game. Good for him. Young Neil, he does have the Unholy Grail, so doesn't need blue as much, but as you can see, his spamming is eating into his mana a little bit there. Jakey25 has the Spirit of the Ancient Golem at the moment, picking up a lot of mid-farm for himself, but we can see Kynoceros has, looks like he will be going for the Ravenous Hydra, has most of the components of it, just needs another Rejuv bead and then some gold to combine all of that. Down at the bottom we can see Zodiac and Poles neck and neck. So I'm certainly going to be asking the K&FP to, in their interview after, if I didn't mention that already guys, I'm going to be interviewing the Knife and Fork Patrol regardless of the outcome here as Strength and Numbers. We did interview them being the champions of last September. So even if K&FP lose in this game, I'd still like to interview them, but the way they're going, they're not going to be losing, as they're now 2,000 gold in the lead. They are pushing the heck out of top. They are getting their Jinx more and more farmed up, and she is a hyper carry. She does very well later on. Poor Zodiac can't get this tower down. Jakey wants to go in, but there is only Nidalee there for damage, so it's a little bit hard. Vexatious putting so much pressure on Strength and Numbers. Is Sul'Zan not able to use the teleport? That's how you deal with a teleport when you don't have one. You put so much pressure that if they TP off, if Sul'Zan was to suddenly go mid, if he even got the TP off, because we've seen that Vexatious is good at interrupting that. If he does get the teleport off, Vexatious will easily take the inhibitor. I mean, True Shot Barrage could be used to try and clear the way, but it would not be enough. So we can see Triforce will be next on the agenda here. Got Amongst Men going to be kicked out into the team. Wild Growth goes off to knock her up, but she may heal herself. Rhinoceros going to take a tower hit. Jakey 25, pretty tanky, but may not be tanky enough there as a fight is going massively. Polecat going to be taken down. Vexatious has a double kill for himself. Husky going to be falling to the Ignite. Triple kill for Vexatious. He takes an Ignite himself, but it is 3 for 1 in the newcomer's favor. We're going to have to jump back and see exactly what happened there again, my friends. So as we can see, Vexatious is up here along with Zodiac and Sulzan. We can assume that Sulzan going to be teleporting in here. He does teleport onto the tower. Rhinoceros takes a massive amount of damage. Young Neil going to be the one jumped on by Jakey 25 and gets instantly Wild Growth. Polecat going to be jumped on, tries to flash away, but it is not enough. Vexatious just going absolutely crazy in the middle of the fight. Ignite will pick up the kill on the Thresh, like we said, and Knife and Fork Patrol looking in a great position to push this one out. Sulzan can't do much about this. Zodiac going to take a bouncing bomb to the face, and the last of the tier 1s will end up falling after so long, with Strength in Numbers trying to fend off the aggression. Knife and Fork Patrol will end up taking it away. Keep in mind, guys, this is a single elimination tournament. Whoever loses this is out of the tournament, which is a real shame because both these teams are fantastic. So we've got a little bit of respite at the moment. I might take the last of my water. Alright, sorry guys, just needed to wet the whistle. So we have God Amongst Men working towards the Unholy Grail that you normally see Nillies go for first, but with the amount of gold she had, it's definitely fair enough to go for that first. We can see in the gold stakes this, well actually it's fairly even. I mean, Vexatious is worth a lot, but his damage falls off, that is for sure. Banshee's Veil's been picked up, that'll help a lot against the Nidalee, but it's speaking of Nidalee, she may get caught out here. She does dodge the zap, but the Sonic Wave will end up landing. Then Super Mega Death Rocket comes out, and the Dragon's Rage will be enough to finish that one off. Polecat going to land like a little lance after getting a help. Pixpol's going to be flashing forward here. Oh, Zodiac, can he get the lance? And he does indeed. Beautifully done by Husky to disengage there. But again, Strength in Numbers need an answer to this Jinx. They are just falling apart at the moment. So nice save by Husky there, but not going to be enough to save the Nidalee at the moment. Again at the top, we have a lot of pushing going down as, well, the Strength and Numbers could have gone in there, but looks like they will go up this Dragon for free. The True Shot Barrage going to be coming in here. There it is, not going to hit anything, and it's too late to take the Dragon. Vexatious going to be heading over to the mid lane as Sulzan desperately trying to push back the top. Vexatious has just been ridiculous with the amount of pressure he's exerted. So Rhinoceros is going to take a spear, takes a decent bit of damage, and Jakey going to Vault Breaker himself over the wall. God Amongst Men is throwing out the spears. He's done pretty well, and then Sulzan finally here to get the counter push going on the top tier 3, looking quite good there. A nice catch by Husky. Polecat instantly going to be going down. He ends up taking a Thresh auto attack to finish that off. Wasn't quite instant, but Wild Growth was forced on her, and she still goes down. Super Mega Death Rocket does almost nothing because it hits a high health member. Spear does miss, and very well done by Strength and Numbers. They're certainly not out of this game just yet, down by about 5,500 gold. But they've still got the plays, obviously. Husky doing them beautifully in this game at the moment. Poor Polecat almost got out, honestly, but could not manage it in the end. Talisman of Ascension is picked up now, which will be very important. If, I mean, Strength and Numbers are easily able to engage whenever they want. Sorry guys if you can hear what's going on. There's some photo taking going on the stage with I think some trophies with the organisers after, so pretty cool. Sorry if the background noise is making it a little bit difficult. We can see Teleport is now available for Sulzan, but he's looking very low on the mana. His Infinite Duress is at level 2. Going to be moving up soon. Jakey 25 has his Assault and Battery. Going to be working towards possibly a Randuin's, as that would be a fantastic choice against Poles, who is working towards the Phantom Dancer at this point. Doesn't have the most AD. Ezreal does have a lot more at this point, but Jinx with the switcheroo has, let's have a look. Does it tell me the name of what they are? Oh, Polecat going to take a spear in the mid lane there. Will the spear land again? No, just a little bit too far there. So the I think Fishbones is a rocket launcher. So there you go. We finally figured it out. You get awesome range with that, and then with the attack speed, she's just going to have almost max attack speed with percentage damage. Going to be penetrating, and then of course Infinity Edge after that. The rockets do crit and an AOE. Banshee's Veil not needed to dodge that spear there. As Sulzon, he does have the teleport. We've got to keep this in mind. It may look like a 4v5, may look in blue team's favor, but we could see a wolf come in from the back at any point in time. So now the poke war begins. Ziggs versus Nidalee, and well, Ezreal versus Lulu, I guess would be the best to say there. As the Bruisers are looking for an engaged Jakey25, going to be whacking at the invisible race there, gets taken away by Shyvana. And Sulzon going to continue pushing out. Oh, well, earlier on I said all the tier 1s are dead, but the we kind of forgot about this one. There's been no action near it for at least 20 minutes, so it's fair enough, but yeah, there is still a tier 1 up. Oh, actually, the bottom one is up as well. So there is a lot of gold available for the red team, but we have the engage going off. Pole's going to be jumped on there. Rhinoceros going to end up falling, and now can Jinx get an assist? No, she is... well, she's used the balk there. Can she get excited to try and run through these? It is currently a 1 for 2 in the blue team's favor. God Amongst Men is trying to get onto Poles, but she gets excited and sprints out of there. 3 members of Strength and Numbers have gone down. God Amongst Men and Zodiac do a lot of damage, though, so it's not over quite yet. God Amongst Men going to be ignited up. Can he jump over the wall? Beautifully done. His face palmed a few times, but he made it out when it counted. Vexatious has Blade of the Ruin King available, but nice jump by God Amongst Men. He can certainly do it under pressure. Zodiac should be trying to help God Amongst Men here. Can Vexatious catch up? No. Ends up being a 1 for 3 in Knife and Fork Patrol's favor. They're going to try and turn that into a mid-tower, but Pulse takes a massive amount of damage. As Vexatious is going to be chasing this Nidalee out. God Amongst Men doing a great job. Bork gets gone onto by Vexatious, but the timely intervention of Husky will stop that for now. Vexatious is going to be sprinting out. And, oh, he's got Amongst Men. Maybe you've gone in a little bit too far. Nice pull by Husky there. Whiffle skiffles the flay just a little bit, but disengaged in the end. So beautifully done by Knife and Fork Patrol there. The Poles was safe that entire time. It was great. So we're just going to have a look at the chat. The poor Sulzon's computer actually turned off. So we're going to have to wait for that, because I do believe this Sulzon is quite necessary to their team comp. So we can see Randuin's being worked on by both of the junglers here. The CS for Vexatious is insane at the moment. He could be going for a Randuin's, or he could try and augment his damage with a Sunfire Cape. Either way would be great. He's already got enough magic resist to stand up to overwhelming amount of magic damage coming out from the Strength and Numbers team. He could get a Wit's End if he so wanted, but yeah, is going to go for a Giant's Belt, and probably, I would guess he'd turn that into a Randuin's, because they need to try and lock down the Ezreal, and Ezreal very, very slippery, so they're going to try and do their best there. Do you have a fridge? Probably taking all the power. Waiting for Sulzon to turn his computer back on, poor guy. I do believe you need a computer to play League of Legends. So Boots 2 has not been finished yet by Zodiac, nor has Triforce. He's got a lot of CS, doesn't have too much money in the bank though. Could go and get the Berserker's Greaves or the CDR Boots if he wanted, but he is about, I'd say 600 gold off of the Triforce, maybe a little less. Which will give him some decent damage output, but we've seen that Poles just monsters people down when she's ignored. It wasn't really ignored, it was more good positioning. Poor Strength and Numbers really couldn't get to her. They'll force her to try and engage onto poor young Neil, who has not had the best of games really. He's level 12. He's almost even with the support, but he provides a lot of area damage, a lot of area control in the fights, and then he can use the Mega Inferno Bomb, I was going to say Super Mega Death Rocket, but that's not right, to counter push, to push as well, to clear lanes that they're not focusing on. And there's, yeah, a lot of utility in the team of Knife and Fork Patrol here. So Strength and Numbers, they don't have teleport anymore because of the fight that just erupted in mid. We need to see a Void Staff coming out on God Amongst Men. We need to see more than, like, we need to see consecutive spears land. She does a massive amount of damage, but she's only landing one spear per person. That needs to be changed into a two. Halski was doing very good on the engage, as was Jakey25. Zodiac has been behind quite a bit of the game. He's done a great job of catching up. Just needs to be careful of the Lee Sin, and particularly Vexatious on the Shyvana. He is so scary. Still waiting for Sulzon to get it going. I'm looking out with my glasses-less eyes, and I can't see where the players are. No fridge, almost. We tried to sneak a fridge in. So the newcomers, knife and fork patrol, not ones to follow the rules, apparently. No go with admins. We're trying to find out what was wrong with the fridge. Yep, they weren't allowed to bring it in. Poor guys, last time they let me. So it looks like Knife and Fork Patrol were here last time. Maybe they're under a different name. Maybe they didn't enter. But apparently, I know the Strength in Numbers versus Fibonacci 5 was a fantastic series last time. But I do believe Fibonacci 5 are here under their name. So and they may be versing someone right now, or they may be waiting for this game to finish. Yeah, I can agree. It sucks having to have your drinks warm. I believe that was Shyvana who said that. No, it was the Jinx. It was gay warm drinks. So, I think we need to see, like, it's been mostly strength and numbers engaging these fights, and I mean, they've got the Jinx Warwick, but, I mean, the person doing well on their team is Godamonk's man, and he needs space to poke the enemy down. The enemy has decent poke themselves. I mean, the Sonic Waves have to be dodged, or a fight will start. And young Neil has decent poke himself, but I feel like strength and numbers at this point, they need to give space to their Nidalee so she can kill people. Land more than one spear. That's what's got to happen here, I feel. So we'll have to see if strength and numbers change their tactics up after this little pause, or if they... Well, I mean, they're the ones who are in a little bit of strife at the moment. So we're just waiting. Just trying to check if the stream's doing okay. Looks like it is. There's 22 of you watching. G'day, guys. I can't see the Twitch chat, sorry, because the obviously with several hundred computers all connected, it makes it a little hard to see the Twitch chat. So if you've wanted shout-outs, I'm very sorry that I haven't been able to deliver. Yeah. So we can. The first Dota 2 game has concluded now. The second one probably coming up soon. If you, I'll let you know when that gets started. There was issues with the stream, unfortunately. Looks like GTV2 is okay though. Still waiting for Paul Warwick to reconnect his computer that turned off. He's loading LOL at the moment. Okay, cool. So we'll have to see if strength and numbers can play more to their strengths, get the enemy team, sitting around half health, then engage. Have the poke come out from Ezreal as well. I mean, Zodiac, he's got a Bloodthirster, he's got a Sheen. His Mystic Shot does a lot of damage. I mean, it's probably going to hit Vexatious or Rhino, who won't take the most damage from it. But if he can land a few key ones on the Ziggs, or maybe even like Polecat, like he's quite squishy at the moment. Only sitting on the... Oh, he's got a Spectre's Cow, which is quite nice. I thought he'd go Mikhail's, but I guess he wants to be a little bit more durable. He has been aimed in the fights, so I mean, there's no point getting Mikhail's if he dies before he can use it on anyone other than himself. And Lulu provides a lot in a fight, but not with this build, not a lot of damage. So staying alive to protect the Jinx probably more important than buying an item that... Well, yeah, I mean, is to protect the Jinx, but you do zero when you're dead, unless you're Karthus, which she is not. And if she was a support Karthus, it also wouldn't work the best. Is that Distortion? Yeah, that's very smart from Sulzon. He's certainly at the CDR cap, is going a little bit overboard, actually, with the CDR. But has Distortion, which reduces teleport and flash cooldowns by 25%. And of course, he's packing both flash and teleport. Hopefully he gets his computer sorted out in time here. Jakey25, like we said, going for the Randuins. How much gold is he sitting on? 83. So must have just picked up the... I think he got the Giant's Belt, which will give him a decent chunk of health. And upgrading that in another 1,000 gold will give him a couple hundred more. Never goes amiss. The Nidalee has, like we said, we need to see a Void Staff coming out. We'll have a look at the trinkets. Both the supports have picked themselves up a greater lens. I don't believe they've upgraded them, which gives you 10 seconds of Oracles. And Sulzon finally reconnects here, so we may be ready to get ahead with this guy's These teams very well mannered. Of course, they're making sure each other is ready. The Surrey's coming out, but yeah, both these teams absolute gentlemen. I think it was a dodgy power board. Okay, so we have Sulzon back in the team, and Rhinoceros is saying, "Please don't kill me," because I believe he is being chased in the mid at the moment. Is the infant dress available? Looks like it just got used, perhaps. So the game is going to unpause here. We're going to quickly jump into the mid and find out what exactly is going to happen. Nope, apparently infinite dress is available, but Rhinoceros not going to be jumped on there. So we're finally back into the action. Vexatious up at his home in the top lane here, having a monster of a game on the Shyvana. Husky going to get some warding going on in the Baron. The warding for both teams looking pretty good. Oh, I don't think that pink ward can see that. Okay. Apparently the pink ward radius is quite small, so the red team strength and numbers know that there is a pink ward there they can clear. No, Vexatious would have headed over to that if they could see it. So nice ward by Husky, not going to be detected, as Vexatious going to place down a trinket ward of his own. And the brush here, there's a normal ward there. So strength and numbers, they're doing a great job at keeping vision. It's not the most vision, but it's in very, very key areas. It's where they need. It's at the objectives. It's at the likely routes of attack. They've got this area very well warded. They're going to know if something happens. The blue team, they've got pretty decent vision themselves. They're having great use of the pink wards at the objectives. But definitely more important for the red team to have vision control here, which they're doing a good job of. And we can probably hand that honour over to Husky. He's been doing a great job at trying to control the vision for his team, or at least establish some. So Zodiac going to be pushing away up at the top, taking over Sulzan's role as he just waits around in the mid. He's a fairly tanky Warwick, honestly, and once he gets Spirit Visage, going to be looking even tankier. And of course, going way too overboard on the CDR, can swap out the boots if he so desires. But at the moment, Infinite Dress at a 48-second cooldown, that will go down by a little bit once it hits level 3, which he's starting to creep up on. He needs another couple levels. Dragon going to be picked up by the Knife and Fork Patrol here. They're now at about an 8,000 gold lead, and this game's starting to become a little bit slowing down just a tad. It was very close and aggressive before. Now the blue team have established their dominion, but it looks like they don't really know how to finish. They're strengthening their lead, but they're giving strength and numbers time to catch up. Jakey going to be running into something he definitely did not want to see. Lantern going to be avoided there. Ends up getting the Flash Dragons. A scent used by Vexatious to try and start a fight that just really wasn't there. Spear lands onto Polecat, but the Spectre's Cow going to negate a lot of that damage. Now the blue buff is going to be fought over. Rhinoceros is going to smite that blue away. So Smite is on cooldown for a little bit here. Gods Among Men going to be jumped on by the Sonic Wave, but a beautiful play by Husky is going to stop that. Jakey 25 is going to take the Lantern and get out. Vexatious is actually taking a lot of damage. Gets the Infinite Dress used on him, but the Polymorph will stop that one down. A key spear lands, and two members of Knife and Fork Patrol have gone down. That synergy in strength and numbers that we talked about is now coming out in full force. Rhinoceros is waiting off to the side here, as does not want to get sniped off. I don't believe red team can see him. No, they got no way of knowing. So beautifully done by strength and numbers there. That we actually might jump back and see exactly what happened, guys, which has been a recurring theme here. So I do believe it was Vexatious who went in, didn't get much, and then God Amongst Men gets jumped on, but the red team were ready for it. They are going to jump in. I actually sped it up there when I didn't really want to. Now a key spear is going to land onto the Shyvana here. She's running away, and the spear that comes through, I'm sure it'll be thrown any second here now. That is key. Taking down the Shyvana, boom, straight in the face. And then young Neil ends up falling as well, which means that strength and numbers do get out. Polecat going to barely get out by the skin of his teeth there. Nice little lance to slow down the pursuers. But strength and numbers, they've shown they have the strength and numbers. They've got really nice team synergy, and it showed right there. As soon as Lee Sin goes in, they're ready for it. Halsky had a beautiful flay to stop it landing, and then God Amongst Men, he baited them forward. Maybe not intentionally, but he did end up baiting them in the end. So now the bottom tier one finally going to go down. Zodiac smells some blood, but Poles is around. Is starting to work on the Quicksilver Sash that we talked about. The top tower. This is the very, if I can finally say, the very last tier 1 of the game. And oh, I thought God Amongst Men was coming to defend it, but of course it is the enemy tower. And with the heal of the Primal Surge, is going to annihilate that. But now Rhinoceros is here, pops the Randuins. I can't see the Nidalee getting out of this one unless she manages to do some sneaky flashes, using the minions very well to block the the resonating strike, but will not be enough. Ends up getting taken, but takes down a tower for a team. So certainly worth it in as far as global gold is concerned here. Randuin's on Jakey 25. He needs about 200 gold here. Is designates enough for the team, and now the Bazkebab is on the menu here for Knife and Fork Patrol. They just got to be careful. Actually, God Amongst Men is down, so this is a very opportunistic Baron. They got to be careful because Jakey has Smite available. It will do 760 damage, so we'll click on the Baron here. Who's going to get this one? It may decide who wins the game. Whoever gets this one, Wild Growth is going to be used. Lee Sin ends up smiting it, and Warwick falls very, very quickly. Vexatious used the Dragon's Ascent to go in and ends up surviving after blowing the Randuins. And now Poles has flashed over, gets... Lee Sin picks that one up, but a double for Poles, going to be sprinting forward with the Get Excited, and this could potentially be the beginning of the end. Strength and numbers are here now, and the tier 2 in the mid is gonna go down. Beautifully done by Knife and Fork Patrol. They took the Baron and they used that momentum to pick up some key kills, which they then turn into objectives. That's what good teams do. They'll pick up objectives, they'll get kills, and then they'll use that room to pick things up. Satchel Charge going to do there. Rhinoceros takes a decent chunk of damage considering that was a low range sphere. He only has 63 MR, so he's not the tankiest against the Nidalee, but they do manage to repel that. So the tier 3's all standing up, but by far the weakest one would be the one in the mid here. This game is getting a lot more exciting. We have to remember that the Baron buff is on Knife and Fork Patrol, so they've got that sustained. Vexatious here, with as soon as Perseverance pops, you can see the chunk of health that he gets back. 38 there, helped of course by the Baron buff, who restores 3% of your health per second. Pole's going to take a spear there. Does have the Spectre's Curse, so going to be going Banshees rather than QSS, which is probably fair enough. God Amongst Men going to be jumping in there, forces the flash from Young Neil, who then uses the ultimate to get some counter pushing going on. Definitely fair enough there. Needed to buy room for his team to come back, so I agree with the ult usage there. Did he have blue at the time? No, he did not, so he needs to wait another minute before that one comes up, and Strength and Numbers going to use this time to get the heck out. So we'll have a look at the gold totals here. 1,000 is available on Jakey, so he can go back and grab the Randuins as soon as he needs to. Catch me if you can. No criminals have been apprehended. What about the Jinx? Has killed Vi 3 times, or assisted in doing so anyway. Banshee's Veil is the name of the game here. There's plenty on the teams here. Oh, I guess it's to deal with the Nidalee. So Knife and Fork Patrol, they're doing what they need to deal with the Nyan Cap. Vexatious going to take a little bit of damage there, but Banshee's Veil will be coming up quite soon. It has a lot of health regen between the Baron and the pop of the Banshees, which is 45 health regen per 5. Now the push going to continue here, and of course Jinx has massive range with the level 5 switcheroo, so they can continue sieging here. This is what blue team need to do. They need to abuse the sustain of Baron buff, and they need to poke, but they're against a Nidalee, so they've got to tread this one carefully. It is difficult. They've got to use that Baron sustain to poke away at the towers, but they need to avoid Nidalee at the same time. They can't afford to engage a team like this under the towers, because they'll have a Warwick jumping on someone key. They'll have a Vi charging through the team. They'll have the box down. They'll have Flays going, and of course Nidalee's just going to jump away, and so is Ezreal. So blue team cannot afford to dive, and they cannot afford to waste this Baron buff. They have to try, well, maybe they can, but actually Dragon's Ascent goes in by the mid lane. Not sure what that was about, honestly. Vexatious is going to have the Assault and Battery used on him. The Spear does miss. He's way too tanky for them to take down. The Mega Inferno Bomb. Both of them have Mega in it, so it's a bit hard. So, what was that? That's Assault and Battery for Dragon's Descent and the Flash of Vexatious. But now Poles could get jumped on. Nice hook from Halski, and they will use that to get the Infusion Duress off. Poles almost heals himself through, but ends up falling to God Amongst Men, who gets the Primal Surge on himself. That was a very, very key pick-off there, and I'm very proud of myself for not swearing at that one because that was great. Rhinoceros gonna try... Oh, he's gonna run straight into the enemy team. He did not want to see that. Can he get out of this one? No, I don't think he can. He's gonna try and take God Amongst Men down. He does indeed. Beautifully done. But in the end, he did get caught, and it is 2 for 1 in the previous minute. And Dragon's gonna respawn here. This may be the very first one that Strength in Numbers have gotten in almost 40 minutes. They may have gotten one other. It's a little hard to remember at this point. But, oh, Zigzag, okay, that was close. They do not want to lose it to that, for sure. So, Red Team going to take their advantage and back off here. They're down to a 7,000 gold deficient, almost exactly there. Randuin's still not picked up by Jakey, actually. He's sitting on 2,300 now, so he is rich money bags. The enemy jungler, there's a couple of Randuins on the side of the blue team. Jinx is, or the Frozen Heart is doing wonders in preventing the damage output of Poles there. So GTU3 is now back up, guys. So if you want to watch some Dota 2, make sure to go over. Vexatious going to be jumped on here, but a minion gets in the way of the hook, and Dragon's Ascent will be used to disengage there. And, well, Polecat is around just in case he's needed. He does have the Talisman of Ascension, as it does Halsky, who also has an Aegis to his name. Last Whisper and Triforce have been finished up by Zodiac, so this game is really in anyone's favour. There's a little bit of an advantage to the blue team, and they do have Jinx, who is a great hyper carry, but they've got Elysian, who is better at peeling at this point in the game. Unless the enemy team just lets him freely go to Ezreal, he's not going to be doing the most. He's better in a spread-out skirmish, honestly. So Vexatious going to be pushing up at the top here. Has himself 1,800 gold. I don't know what he'll decide to go for. It could be a Sunfire Cape, or maybe it's a little bit too late for that one. Teleport comes in by Sul'Zen there. Jakey manages to avoid the hook, and now Young Neil gets jumped on. Strength in Numbers, they are here in force, and they have picked themselves a juicy Ziggs, which negates the poke of the blue team by quite a lot. Sul'Zen going to blow the Banshees of Vexatious here. Could this be the turnaround that Strength in Numbers have been waiting for? 40 minutes has elapsed in this game, and it's still not looking close to finishing. Of course, the death time is getting longer and longer as the players get higher level. But I don't think anyone's at 18 just yet. Only Shyvana, and at least in the call goes out for pizza. So if there's anyone watching who is actually at the LAN, if you want to get pizza later on, you can put in your order and they'll go pick it up for you. So head on over to the stage, and they'll do that for you. But for those of you who want to continue watching the League of Legends action, we will be up to that. The vision for, well, both teams is quite impressive, particularly the blue team. They've got this lit up like a Christmas tree. This ward has stayed here for ages, or at least this bush has been warded by a pink ward for ages. This one's lasted ages. It's still the same one who, yeah, I guess, well, Strength in Numbers never really been in a position to do much about it. So, God Amongst Men is, will it be an Hourglass or a DFG? I think he does need an Hourglass. Is going to use the Home Guard to get out. Halsky is getting very, very tanky now. They use the red trinket to clear that out. They still haven't upgraded it, which is surprising to me. They don't want the oracles, and actually it looks like God Amongst Men going to be caught out terribly. That could be disastrous. Vextra's going to have the Warwick ult used on him, but Wild Growth will knock up the Warwick. Now Sul'Zen forced to flash out of there. Husky is trying to lead them away from his team, but the blue team is not taking the bait. They're going to continue going on Sul'Zen. Is he going to make Jinx excited? He is indeed. She's going to be sprinting up here. Zodiac and Jakey, they barely avoid the Sonic Wave there. Meanwhile, Polecat going to take down Halsky. And that is 3 members of Strength in Numbers going down to, Knife and Fork Patrol. And now Vexatious is going to be tanking up the tower here. The front line for K&FP is looking very, very weak. But I mean, there's just no threat coming out for Strength in Numbers unless Ezreal just goes man mode. But Poles is right there to neglect that. And it looks like the blue team, they're going straight for the jugular. I think Strength in Numbers realise this may be their last stand. They've got to try and use the tower damage. That was beautifully done by Jakey. 5 Vexatious going to maybe fall. No, flashes away into a tower shot and ends up falling down. Rhinoceros forced out as well. And this could be the defense that Zodiac wanted. Primal Surge will be used on him to give him a little bit of health, but the AoE crit from the rocket comes out from Poles. True Shot Barrage goes out. It doesn't do too much, honestly, because Polecat has what does she have? Banshees as well as the Mikhails that we were talking about. That was beautifully done by Sin. I have to point out, I want to show you guys again. Watch what Jakey does here. That is borderline perfect. He disrupts all of them. He leaves the towers alive for a little bit longer. And it ends up being key. So I'm going to slow it down here. Watch this assault and battery. It's going to be greatly done. So Polecat has Banshees, and it's going to knock them all aside. It's going to get Visacious. He's isolated back here. They can't jump onto Zodiac, and JK25 distracts 3 of them for a little while, and it means God Amongst Men can come back up. It's just such a beautiful assault and battery. Even though he goes down, it's exactly what the Doctor ordered, and Blue Team forced to get out there. Another AoE crit goes out. True Shot Barrage. Not going to do too much because I am a magician and I know what's going to happen in the future. But top and bot both pushing very hard for red. So the K&FP guys, like I said earlier, they're having a bit of trouble closing this out. They've played really well, but maybe they haven't been a team for quite long enough to know how to execute their enemy, basically, when to finish. And now it looks like Strength and Numbers going to go for a very, very opportunistic Bazkebab here. Going to be quickly healing up the damage he took from the Nidalee. And Blue Team, they have no vision of this, as young Neil's going to get vision of it just now. And yeah, there he goes. They know Baron's being started. Not taking too much damage, honestly, but young Neil going to be jumped on there. Rhinoceros has the wild growth on him. God Amongst Men not going to fall and somehow falls down the cliff. Oh, Nidalee not going to fall. Zodiac taking a lot of damage, but Poles is a little bit too far behind enemy lines and is going to end up falling. God Amongst Men still alive, going to be jumping onto Polecat. Talisman of Ascension used to disengage there, but this is an easy Baron for Strength and Numbers here. There's nothing that Blue Team can do unless Shyvana pulls off a miracle here. As a Baron did regen his life, Halsky going to try and ward him away, and Shyvana can do nothing about this. Baron going to go the way of the red team here. True Shot Barrage used to get him down as quickly as possible. Zodiac going to jump out, and Jakey gets the smite off in the end. They use their mobility to get through. Poor Thresh and Warwick forced to walk around the long way. Season 1 champs represent this Warwick. He now has his wits end. Has a Mikhails as well, just to try and protect Zodiac that little much more. Polecat is not going to interrupt the recall there of the Warwick. And red team looking pretty good. Of course, they did take some damage on their Nexus there. There is no Nexus towers. This mid lane could not be more open. As I was going to make a joke there, but I better not. They've got to be careful of this. You can have Vexatious run up and annihilate that Nexus. Same with Poles. The Strength and Numbers guys, they just picked up a Baron, which is great for them, but they've got a massive gate here, an open doorway that says, "Come on in, Knife and Foot Patrol, take our Nexus." Speaking of them, they're going to pick themselves up a Dragon Guardian Angel now on Vexatious. So he's hard to take down once, he'll be even harder to take down twice. Looks like the Strength and Numbers guy is going to try and do a little bit of baiting. Zodiac is a nice juicy AD carry. And the rest of the red team waiting in the wings there. But Knife and Fork Patrol, they're being patient, which is good. As Rhinoceros going to pick up that blue for himself. Poor young Neil has not had the best of games, but he's doing his best. So now the CS is, a lot of it is on God Amongst Men, so hopefully he doesn't get caught out again like he did in the fight that was up here, because that was disastrous for the red team. They almost lost their base, like I said before. So this inhibitor will be respawning soon. That will be a load off for the Strength and Numbers guys. And of course they do have a teleport Warwick, so they can be elsewhere on the map and still fight a 5v5. Lots and lots of Banshees, Veils, Bubbles now up, and of course the Guardian Angel for Vexatious. His own Banshees will be coming up soon. Rhinoceros the only one. Oh, actually he has a Banshee as well, so this entire team has a Banshees once it goes back onto making the bubble. This tower is going to die very quickly, despite the minions being all the way down here. So nice pick off by K&FP. Despite the enemy team having Baron, they're being a little bit tricky. Nice dodge there by God Amongst Men to avoid the Lee Sin initiation there. That could have been bad. Soul's on up at the top. Does have the TP, and it looks like he's working on a Blade of the Ruined King. Definitely fair enough. Will allow him more chasing and murdering potential and whatnot. So can they interrupt the recalls here? Vexatious going to be forced to burn out the heck out. Polecat goes off the True Shot Barrage. Going to clear out the minions. So Strength and Numbers know they need to assert some kind of map presence right now. They all the tier 2s are up for the blue team, albeit not the healthiest of towers. This one particularly very vulnerable. They could just run in with Jakey, Sulzon, even Halski tanking that one up and take it down very quickly, or they could just have God Amongst Men just go down and snipe it off. It would be very easy for her to get out. Well, actually, maybe not, because there's a lot of catch potential for the blue team. There's 7,300 gold almost on the side of Knife and Fork Patrol, 65,000 on the side of Strength in Numbers. Our reigning champions struggling for sure. I'm so sad that this is only a best of one, because this has been an epic game. It's going to probably come down to one big team fight. Like, it's easy to say that, but these team fights have been like not dominated by one side. There's been trade-offs in every single one. So the only way this game's going to end quickly is if one team wipes the other one out without losing their AD carry, or I guess a Shyvana or a Warwick. Well, Lee Sin was up at the top, now in the base, going to be sprinting out to try and defend it. Has his own Guardian Angel as well, so there's now 2 GAs on the side of K&FP. It is on their front line, so Strength in Numbers, they're going to have a very difficult time pulling this one out. The Banshee's Veils also serve another purpose. It's really, really hard for Jakey25 to get an initiation off. They need to pop at least a few of those bubbles before he goes in. He's got his own bubble here, but he can't jump in when they're all up. Looks like Halski almost got caught out, but a nice flay will get him out for the time being. Zap will be used on him, and he gets jumped on as they're putting a lot of damage onto him, but they've put so much on Polecat. Going to be jumped on by Sulzan, who is trying to drain tank, but falls lower and lower, gets a flash out. Got Amongst Men going to try and body block for him, but the Ignite will take him off in the end. Jakey25 gets the Renduins off. Vexatious just going crazy in the backline. Pole's going to get the reset, gets excited, sprints up, and Zodiac cannot survive. There is only one member of Red Team who will walk away from this one. Lee Sin going to be coming back up. Halski, can he get God Amongst Men back in? No. And Halski's given away his position now. Can Rhinoceros get him? Sonic Wave, will it land? As the Nexus is being taken down, it looks like our winners will be Knife and Fork Patrol. They wipe out the entirety of the red team in trade for their Lulu. And just like that, Knife and Fork Patrol will be advancing on. Strength in Numbers, unfortunately, will not be joining us for this grand final. Beautifully played by both teams, though. There is no denying they did absolutely fantastic. We're going to have to nominate an MVP here, and I'm going to have to give it to Vexatious on the Shyvana. That was a brilliant showing. He put so much pressure on the enemy. He, in the fights, he was just murdering the back line, chasing people the heck out of the fights, and it was just beautifully done. We have to give a runner-up to Polecat and Poles, the combo of awesomeness. Polecat did get caught out quite a bit, but he contributed massively when he didn't die instantly. And just his items. He even had a needlessly large rod at the end. So well done, Poles and Polecat. Well done, the rest of Knife and Fork Patrol. Congratulations, Vexatious, on picking up MVP. Strength in Numbers had a fantastic showing again for their 2014 debut. They'll not be joining us later on today, but we will have an interview with them, as they are very cool guys. So looking forward to talking to them, and hopefully they turn up in April and we can see if they learn from their mistakes. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been round 2 of Respawn V29 Hack the Planet. I'm off to interview the winning team here, Knife and Fork Patrol, and then we'll be bringing another game from round 2 to you, hopefully, if they've waited for me. So this is Cold Blood signing out for now.